The Marvin Sapp situation just keeps getting worse. You would think that since this video actually came out in 2024 and now has gone viral, that the best thing that he could do is just to ignore it, to know that the people who are around him and the people that he is dealing with will all just let this fly overhead and wait for the next news cycle to happen so that he just drowns himself in obscurity as far as this situation, as it was in obscurity for most of 2024. But no, he had to come out and try to defend the situation and yet only made it worse. So his appeal to the people, and I'm going to paraphrase his long statement here, but his appeal to the people was one, that when he was brought on to this convention, that one of the duties is to raise money for the convention itself, to increase the amount of money that the convention has. Now, if the convention needed more money, it should not have been through people giving. It should have been through the organization's ticket sales. If you can generate enough ticket sales and you set the price to cover everything that is needed, then you wouldn't have to ask people for money. But he then tries to say that the asking for the money is a way for people to show their uh, conviction, show their fellowship to this God. And he goes on and quotes a situation where David, and listen very carefully of the situation that he quotes, and let's see if it matches up. He quotes the situation where David was asking the people to help build, I believe, a new temple or something of that, or some structure within Jerusalem. So, what David did was first give his portion. He emptied the treasury and gave way more than any of the population can possibly give, and demonstrating that he is going to lead this by example. And then the people gave willingly according to what they had. They gave gold, they gave silver, they gave other stones, and they gave willfully and cheerfully. And he cites this as what he was actually doing and how people should function, and saying that what he did was scriptural, what he did was biblical. But when you compare what he actually did, it is not in relation to what you would see in the Bible as an example. And these people are supposed to be examples of this belief, because in comparison, Marvin Sapp said that he gave and expected the other pastors to give at least $100, which was more than the 20 or 40 that they was asking for. And that in the background, he gave even more than the $100. Now, David supposedly gave from the treasury, displayed it to the people. Did Marvin Sapp give from the treasury? Did he display it before the people? No, he spoke words. He asked the men on the stage to give $100. Didn't demonstrate it, didn't show the extra givings that he was giving. And then the people gave willingly. No doors were closed. This wasn't a process where people were shamed into giving. Wasn't a process where people were guilted into giving. As a matter of fact, he goes on and talks about the fact that he expressed to people that if you gave over your phone, that you can come up and simulate that you gave, and then when you go to the front, the doors will open. But the ushers need to see you come to the altar first and then proceed to the doors. And that everybody need to come to the altar first and then they can proceed to the doors. So this is a form of guilt shaming people into their giving. Now, the other aspect of it that he has failed to understand is that according to what he's supposed to represent, when Jesus spoke of the people who were blowing trumpets and sounding horns when they came to give, that these people already received their rewards. But it is the woman who came up and gave 2 pence, who gave from her heart, that hers was more valuable than what the trumpet blowers were giving. In this sense, by having people come up and display their giving, is blowing the trumpet, is a demonstration not of their willful giving, their cheerful giving, their non regrettable giving, but this was, hey, Look at what I did. Hey, I gave, and now I can go outside and go to the restroom or go to the restaurants that he's so eloquently talked about. I can go and do that because don't you see me? Can you see me? Did you see me? And for the other people, they become like sheep. This is a coercion tactic that is used by many ministers to get people to come up to the front and display their giving so that the other people will feel that, well, if Tom and Jan did it, if Michael and Sherry did it, if Laquan and Tanisha did it, then I need to go do it. I need to do likewise. Not knowing, not thinking about the fact that that last $20, $40 could be the final amount that they need to pay their rent, to buy food, to put gas in their car to go to work, the last amount of money that they need to pay child support, to pay a tuition, to do all sorts of things that you don't know what's within their budget. But of course, you tell them, though, if you give, it's your demonstration of faith towards God. And for the one step you take towards God, he'll take two steps towards you. That your cup will then be overflowing and the blessings of God are going to come from all different directions. This is the mental enslavement and coercion that is used in order to convince people that they need to give to these already wealthy people, these already wealthy organizations. You could have easily just set the ticket price $20 more, $40 more. If you have value to the people, if you are providing value to the people, they will still come. They will still provide. And for those who did not want to, maybe it's not within their means. Maybe some of those people were there out of their last desperations of hope and was looking for something to energize them so that they can then go on. Now, I believe that you should look inside yourself to energize yourself. That is not some ethereal God from outer space who's going to energize you and pour into your cup, but that you have to pour into your own cup, that you have to look within to find the answers to whatever struggles you're going through. That maybe if you are on your last 20, your last 40, that you need to come to Coach Rins and let me help you through your finances, through financial coaching, so that you can get yourself out of that situation and be able to then have an overflow that you created for yourself. Now, the worst part for me was his excuse of the fact that he closed the doors or asked for the doors to be closed because this was the most unsafe time in the church. That this was a time frame where people are moving around and security has a difficult time being able to maintain order in the church. That if someone was coming to attack the church because now money is being exchanged, this is the optimum time to rob the church and put people in danger. But I have a question for you, Marvin Sapp. If the church is supposed to be protected by your God, if the church and the people who are claimed to be the church are sitting in the bosom of Abraham, that they have a hedge of protection around them, why do you need to ensure that no one comes and robs the church at this very moment? That there are gangsters out in the hallways, gangsters within the church itself, waiting and waiting for that moment to pounce when the money is being given. No, if someone really wanted to rob a church, they wouldn't do it while all the people are there. There's too many witnesses and too difficult of crowd control. They will wait for y'all to take it to the back room, and they would be able to spot out where security is and make their move at that point. To say that it was for the security of the church, the security of the people, the security of the money, shows that you don't trust your God to protect you. But more importantly, it demonstrates the fact that you think that people are out here really trying to rob the churches. When was the last time you heard somebody holding a church up at gunpoint for the money? And it demonstrates that you're just looking for an excuse to reason out your rationale for closing the doors and keeping them people in there as mental and emotional hostages so you can guilt shame them into giving more money than they expected to give so that you can and the others can continue to line your pockets. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, Good vibrations.